everyone, here we are again. Welcome to Up Next, our regular Rovers roundtable, although it's not too regular, it's a little bit irregular this week. We're not so much reflecting on 2 wins out of 2, a brilliant start to the Betfred Championship season with victory at Keighley and here against Halifax Panthers, and hopefully 3 from 3 as we await Whitehaven here at the Millennium Stadium on Sunday. We're going to actually go a bit retro and reflect on some memories and glory days of years gone by here at Post Office Road with some of Featherstone's famous old faces. So gentlemen, great to see you. Why don't we just introduce ourselves first and foremost. I'm George, by the way, so it's lovely to see you. Who do we have here?
Phil Butler. I come down to Featherstone as a 15-year-old, playing in under 17s, under 19s, captain in both teams, and then signed on with Featherstone 73-74 season. And my highlights mainly played at Yorkshire Cup final and what have you, but the biggest highlight was winning the First Division Championship in 76-77. That were absolutely unbelievable, beating every team home and away. And the worst part was in my career was losing to Widnes in semi-final at Challenge Cup at Swinton. We were 9-0 up, cruising, and I got a dislocated shoulder and had to go off. And when I came back out, they put my shoulder in, and when I come back out, we were losing 15-9, and that was the worst part of my career. So.
Well, thankfully, Phil, some happier moments than the bad ones. But great to see you here.
Right, good afternoon, everybody. My name's Alan Rhodes. Signed on with Rovers in 67 and left about 75. Privileged to play in 5 finals with the Featherstone. The main one, obviously, it's 50 years. It's in 1973, the Challenge Cup Winners' Medal, when we played Bradford Northern, and as I say, it's a 50 years anniversary of it, and that was obviously one of my best games for them, so I'm pleased to say it's been up and running. I'm privileged to be at this club as it's basically the foundation of Featherstone. Everybody mentioned across the world, well, across England and wherever, you'll mention anybody at Featherstone is known as a rugby club, and that gives it a real tremendous outgoing. Everybody knows about rugby league through Featherstone Rovers, and for a small town, they should be very proud. Everybody should be very proud of what they provide. Okay.
Well said.
Hi, I'm the old stager. I played rugby league when it was rugby league, and I signed on in 1956, and finished in 71, went to York, came back from York here in 74, 75, and then I've been chairman of the Past Players Association, as all the 4 what's here today on the board of the Past Players Association, and I've been on the chairman 30 plus years. My highlights: I won in the Yorkshire Cup in 1959, 2 or 3 finals after that which were lost, and then the main one was the Challenge Cup in 1967 and been presented with the cup from the Queen. But I'm crippled now, but I've never changed. If I started again, I'd still come back.
That's what people say. It's all worth it, isn't it, Mal? Great to see you.
It is. I'm suffering now, but...
last but not least.
Hi everybody, my name's Keith Bell. I signed for Featherstone Rovers in 1971, following my father, my 3 older brothers, making it all 5 members of the families play professional first team rugby for Featherstone Rovers. My dad was also groundsman down here for quite a few years as well. I left Featherstone in 1990, making it. I played 19 and a half years down here and playing 417 games. My highlights, there's quite a few really. I remember three Challenge Cup squads. I only played in one final, which unfortunately we lost in 1974. Like I played in two losing Yorkshire Cup finals, but I'm a member of the championship winning team of 1977, which was a massive achievement for the club. And Featherstone means the world to me and everybody around here. So that's it, really. Thanks.
Well, it's great to see you all back together, and I feel quite honoured to be in your company. When you get back together, Mal, you guys, what memories are you sharing? What are you talking about?
Well, it's nice to be. We have an annual dinner. Roughly this time it's on the 14th of April, which we're just getting prepared now for it, sending the letters out. And it's nice to see the players, but I'm very disappointed with some of the people who won't come.
Okay.
You see people, like in your job, you work with people, and it's nice to see them years after, see that they're still knocking about and enjoying their lives. But we can't get them down here, unfortunately. But it's a great life. I'm crippled, but I won't change it. If I come again, I still look the same. But that's my life.
You've already given us, guys, a sense of the history of this club. Alan, I see you around here a lot, still watching, hopefully still enjoying it. And we'll come on to more of this a little bit later. In terms of where the club is now, you've all kind of enriched some of the past memories of this club. Where we are now, what are you seeing? What are you feeling about Featherstone Rovers?
Well, you can see obviously they're not playing in the Premier League, which is what every person in Featherstone is. That's the main objective of the club. I can see now on the two matches I've seen that they're really prepared for it. They're really accepting that it's got to be done every week and perform every week right to the crunch. And I can see the confidence. I'm the admirer of Sean Long, who's come as coach now. I can feel the team spirit in the side, and hopefully things are going well. But there will be more difficult matches. There will be more difficult times when it comes to the crunch. But I think the Rovers are better prepared now than they've ever been for the Premier League, and it'll be a tragedy if we don't get up this time.
Yeah, well, let's hope Super League beckons for Featherstone Rovers. I want to talk a bit more about 1973 on the 50-year anniversary in just a sec. I wanted to ask you, Phil Butler, well, all of you, in fact, one thing Sean Long has spoken about a lot on his return here is the community, the bond, the link, the strength of the community. There have been some who said perhaps his predecessor didn't get that. I mean, we don't need to talk about that because let's focus on the present. But you guys, who are so immersed in the culture and the community here, just give us a sense from your perspective of that special bond between Featherstone, its people, the community, and why this is such a strong community club.
Well, I mean, you can go back way before my time, and the community was so close together. I mean, I worked in coal mines, and nearly every one of them, the men that worked in the mines, were a season ticket holder, because they had so much a week stopped out the wages. Yeah. So to work with all them lads and then to play in front of them, knowing that they were all there, and even when we were down mines working, and if it were a couple of days before the game and we were working and we were moving heavy equipment, as I walked forward to give a man I was told to move back because I was playing at weekend and they'd do all the work, like, so I had it pretty easy, like, as long as I turned out and played a decent game on a Sunday, they weren't bothered and what have you. And it's still the same today. School kids, you name it, everybody, it's unbelievable. And may it last forever and ever, which I'm sure it will do.
Well, I was heavily involved in Featherstone Lions amateur rugby side for many years. Me and my brother started the junior rugby off at then the Travellers Saints, and the club has always sold into that thing. Years ago when Bob Ashby, who was chairman, who just died, he got all the lads playing in the Rovers colours, so the kids from ages 9 up to about 15 were all wearing Butcher's stripes. And then he provided season tickets for all the young kids in every age group that played rugby, and this has carried on for years and years. The clubs went down to, which is Featherstone Lions, has got a marvellous setup down Wakefield Road there, and the kids still there, and they still work hard with the community, and that's what it's got to be, because this club thrives on its local lads coming through, and it needs to carry on forever.
I mentioned the cup wins. That's, I'm sure, what we talk about a lot, or what you guys talk about a lot. You know, the famous triumphs of 67, 73, 83, celebrating anniversaries of those last two this year. Alan, talk us through your memories of 73, not just the final, but the whole run to it.
Well, in 1973, Featherstone Rovers, it weren't a fluke that we got to Wembley, because if you look at the league table, we were second in the league table when it were out. The Wiggins and the St Helens were behind us. We were second to Warrington in that particular year. So the confidence, once we beat Warrington in the third round of the Challenge Cup away, we knew, well, I knew, and I was confident we'd beat Castleford in the semi-final, and I was confident we'd beat Bradford Northern in the final. That was the culture of the Featherstone Rovers. We were up there with the top of the tops, and we got the confidence to do it, and we did it. So the culture of the 1973 season, it means so much that I know that Featherstone can do it. They've been there and they can get back there.
Well, I was a 19-year-old kid at that time, of my second season at club, and Peter were using lads in and out to rest these players for the big cup ties.
This is Peter Fox, the coach.
And I, like I say, I didn't play around, but I was part of the squad that went down to Wembley. 19-year-old, wow, it was unbelievable. And like Alan says, could see confidence hovering through everybody. There was no way, mate. Team spirit was unbelievable. There was no way anybody was going to beat that team that day. And it was a marvellous experience for me. But obviously these lads played, and you know, lads who you looked up to coming through, like old men like Alan Rhodes and them, who would watch play from stands and that, and then I was there with them down there.
Are you an old man now?
Old man, eh?
I'd just like to say I have got one gripe, which I always moan about. All the finals, and I blame it on the committee. You won't find any registered team photographs of the team that won the Challenge Cup in 73, the team that lost in the final in 74. There were no official photographs taken by the committee. It's unbelievable. They're the only club in the history of rugby league where there are no team photographs of the team winning the cup.
Make sure it was the old committee, Alan, wasn't it? It was the old committee at the time, yeah.
Yes, it was the old committee, yes. I hope to God it was. They're not still good. No.
Maybe
but I would have said the same now. You know, you have to tell people, you can't show them a photograph of us winning the Challenge Cup. It's unbelievable.
Maybe it never happened. Maybe you just all dreamt it. I've not seen a photo either. Are you sure it happened?
There you go.
There you go, that's it, yeah.
That's what we're up against.
You mentioned your coach, Peter. Tell us a little bit about Peter Fox and memories of him. What was he like as a person? You know, well, share your memories and as a coach, some stories about him.
I can remember Peter Fox being appointed at this club. We never expected it. You know, I was sat in the clubhouse with Bosch Lyman, and we were expecting Harry Poole to get the job. To be quite honest, he put in for it, but apparently Peter went up and what he could do a talk and completely bombarded Harry Jepson and the committee. And they gave him the job, and we didn't. And I'll be perfectly honest, I think it was his first team job, and we were very surprised. But he soon put his mark on the job. I'll be perfectly. He got everybody sat down the first training session, you know, and he made you know who was the boss. But what he did do, and he's so much, helped my game. He developed me to what I could do best, if you know what I mean. He developed my game, and everybody had his own job in them particular times. You know, if he saw me around play the ball, he'd go mad. You know what I mean? You're out, you're a runner. I want you, outside. But he had the culture to give people confidence in their own ability, did Peter? And credit due to him, man.
He was one of the coaches as well, who that we were all young lads at second team, and we did a marvellous 18 when we got signed, and we won 18 championship and that, and all young lads at 18, 19 year old. And what he did, if someone at first team got injured and you played that position, you went in. You got to do it. Don't get me wrong, you got to do it. If you didn't do it, it swapped team about the next time. And I signed as hooker, and Keith Bridges was hooker at first team. He won it scrums, and when they were contested scrums, 15-1, 15-2, I was going and losing them 10-1, 10-2. So obviously he told me I had to change my position, and he changed me to loose forward, and that's where I played for the majority of my career after that.
Phil, you were nodding along. You share similar recollections of Peter Fox.
Yeah, he could talk to you. He could explain things to you that you didn't realise what you were doing on the field, but he could see way in front of you, and he could explain things to you just one-on-one and everything, and he could make you feel absolutely brilliant, you know. I mean, he said to me one of the days, if you've got the ball and you're going in and you turn to pass that ball, and if it's Keith Bridges or John Newell, take the ball in yourself. He says, Keith Bridges is here to win us the ball, and John Newell's here to win us the game. And it was just unbelievable listening to him to talk to you like that, you know. It was absolutely brilliant.
I will have to I've just remembered a little thing with Peter. When he first came, as I said, we didn't know him. I don't think he had much of a playing career or anything like that. But he got us all in, and he sat us all down on the grass, and he's talking about what he did and what he didn't. And I just happened to say to Steve Lyons, actually, I says, I ain't A-team. And he says, yes, and that's where you're going to be, another word from you. And he showed me up like straight away. So I learned a lesson quick from Peter.
I mean, we did have such as... But looking back, I mean, we did have some brilliant coaches in our time. I mean, Keith Golding, what a fitness fanatic. He had us going at 100 mile an hour, whatever. And then Tommy Smales, the scrum half Tommy Smales. I mean, what a tactician, what a brain he had. He spent hours and hours with me personally, outside in that car park, throwing a ball upside of that wall. And then once it hit wall, it'd bounce off anywhere, left, right, anywhere, and then I had to run and pick it up. And he'd be off somewhere else, but I had to find him and pass it to him. It was brilliant.
Going back to Tommy, Phil, I remember this. Tommy, he played in area where Malcolm and that played, and they'd all these, and he'd think of a move what he'd done years ago. And then this day, Christmas Day, we just had his Christmas dinner, they sat down with us, a phone call, Tommy Smales. Keith, can I get down to the pub? He had the Travellers pub at the time. I says, what's Christmas Day? Tommy says, can you get down? He'll only be half an hour, 20 minutes. He said, I've just thought of something. All right then, so I gets down, Phil's there, and he got a gym upstairs, he got a table in the middle of the gym upstairs. I used to this move Huddersfield with Dave Valentine in 50s, is it, right move? And it would have moved round base at scrum, and because we couldn't get it right, we were there 2.5 hours, didn't get home till 8 o'clock on Christmas night. Wife was chuffed to bits about it, like, you know what I mean?
He had a big table.
Yeah.
It was a big table, and he says to me and Keith, this is a scrum. And me and Keith dressed, and there's some houses across the road and windows, like, you know, and people could see in. And he said to Keith, like, you're loose forward, pat down in that scrum. And he gave me a ball, and he said, throw that ball at that leg, table leg. He said, when you pick it up, I want you to go underneath Keith and give it the ball and run off. And that's how we learnt that move back at
It didn't
school.
work on Boxing Day, did it, against us? But it worked every week. All other teams said it, instead of called it Featherstone. Oh.
What I love, guys, listening to you, and I'm sure you could sit here all day sharing all these memories, but it's in, we're recording this kind of in the corridors of this famous old ground, and as we're doing so and sharing these memories of great players and coaches gone by, some of the current crop are kind of lurking and going in and out of doors behind the cameras. We've seen Taylor Bacon's the current superstar fullback going in and out. Leon Price is just downstairs working out some game plans for the next home game against Whitehaven on Sunday. So I want to fast forward and bring it back to the now, and I mean you've touched on it, Al, already, so I'll get all your thoughts on this. What you think about where we are now with Featherstone Rovers, how excited you might be.
Well, I still go mostly home and away every week, and last year was terribly disappointing. I mean, not going too deep into it, but the players are coming up, I come to be quite regular, and the players weren't walking about with a smile on their face and things like that, and their heads were down, and I think it transferred onto the field. That some of the signings they've made this year, and knowing how Sean Long and Pricey played when they were playing the expansive football they played, and that I'm really looking forward to what they can do this season. And I know they've only played 2 games and up to now, but the signs are there that pack's really strong, and that if the pack's really strong, your half backs can prosper. I think it's already showing with Ford's game at the minute, and I think if it carry on like this, I says hopefully, like Alan said earlier, we should be back where we belong, as long as they don't change things and say, you can't go up now because of so-and-so, which I'm still waiting to happen. But I think we need to be there, and Holman's look good at the minute, and I just hope it carries on.
Well, Dixon, you've been smiling and listening and absorbing and sharing these wonderful memories. I'm fascinated by what you think of the 2023 Featherstone Rovers, not just the team, the squad, the club, how everything is here. What's your take on it all?
Well, it's a big change from when I first started. We used to have a little running track at back of the stand here, and a wooden hut with a bath in the middle, and everybody used that. And then it's prospered since, but now since the new regime's taken over, it seems to be more. They've got the new stands. The field's beautiful. Had to change it, the measurements, because the Rugby League said it wasn't big enough for us to qualify to go up into the Super League. Now when they did it, they've robbed them again, and this is what the Rugby League is, the bent. And I don't like saying things like that, but they are. They don't want Featherstone as a small town, and McDermott said that last year, year before, about we don't want small town teams, we want big city teams, and no, it's all.
I'm sure if they were here to defend themselves, they would refute that allegation. I should say, as a journalist.
I mean, I've said it. I'll say it to the faces. I mean, that don't bother me, but it's they're doing well. I mean, and I've just met 4 lads, and I've never seen them before, only on field, and fantastic lads. Yeah, they just sat there. And what I had to do, I had to ask them all the names because, like a school teacher, because I didn't know who they were. But it's yes, they've got a squad here now. What they'll take some beating.
Maybe we should do that. Get you in at the end of the tunnel every match day when the players arrive, and you could take the register.
Well, fair enough.
Here.
Yes.
Ford here. Kozar here. Yes, sir. Al, you've already said this. You're confident this is the year. It has to be the year. I mean, it couldn't have started any better, could it, in terms of performances and results on the field?
Well, the attitude you can see, the inspiration, the confidence and the speed of the game. What I saw on Saturday, on Sunday, is really fantastic. I mean, and this is what it's all about. The higher level you get, it matters a lot. You've got to keep up with the pace of the game. That's why the Australians are better than us, because they're more consistently fast at playing the game. And as I say, what I've seen of the Rovers in the last week especially, they were dynamite, and hopefully it can continue.
Phil?
I definitely think with with the help of the squad builders people and And the club itself, Mark Campbell in particular, and the facilities that this club has now got is second to none. And I definitely think they can go that one step further and we can finish up in Super League, definitely.
Let's hope you're right. Gentlemen, I'm going to leave you chatting amongst yourselves. We're going to hit stop on recording because we are out of time on this week's Up Next, but great to see you all. Phil Butler, Alan Rhodes, Mal Dixon, Keith Bell. It's been really great for me to spend some time in your company, and hopefully I'll see you all Sunday, and you lot as well. Make sure you get along here, Post Office Road, the Millennium Stadium. The next home game is Whitehaven this Sunday, a 3 o'clock kickoff. Go online or come down and get your tickets, and make sure you are here to cheer the team on. So far so good, 2 wins from 2. Let's make it 3, and we'll see you next time here on Up Next. Thanks for watching.